And Stephanie Van Hover and Matt will be getting set up. Stephanie is at the Curry School of Education. She trains students to teach history, and she's going to tell us how she encourages her students to think and learn from multiple perspectives, which I think follows up nicely on your point, Mark.
Good morning. As Marva said, I'm at the Curry School of Education, and I'm in teacher preparation, future grades 6 through 12 history and social science teachers. So my students go out into the world to teach adolescents history, government, civics, economics, social sciences. And they walk into a world where, as you all live in your classes, students Google content and think Google is the way of the world. Then they're tested on that factual content. So one of the things we work on is how to teach students the critical skills they need: compare and contrast, assess, analyze, and, most importantly, engage in thoughtful, supported, evidence-based discussion. I also teach a very large lecture class, Contemporary Educational Issues, in which I teach all students who want to become teachers. And I find that the methods that I talk about and teach to my future history teachers work very well in a large lecture class. Students who want to be teachers have this dream. They will assign readings, they will give a lecture, and their classrooms will look like this. Any of you who have been near an adolescent, or even your own UVA classes, know that this is not often the case. That while this looks beautiful and it looks like students are engaging, often they're looking for the right answer, the correct answer. They want to be validated for knowing, that is reinforcing as a teacher. If you're a teacher, this is great. My students know. I taught them well. This is fantastic. So we have to talk about how scary it is as a teacher to have students engage. Not scary at UVA necessarily, but think about adolescent learners. So how do you teach them to engage in conversation? How in a large lecture class can you have students talk in a way that gets them to move beyond the right answer and consider multiple perspectives deeply and carefully? An approach I like to use is a discussion technique. It's not my own, but it's adapted from work by Johnson & Johnson called a structured academic controversy. The purpose of this approach is to make sure that students can gain deeper knowledge of issues, to explore, appreciate, respect multiple perspectives on an issue, to construct and communicate an argument, and to achieve consensus. It's a multi-step process that begins with the course reading. So we assign students reading. They come to class prepared. The key is that whether it's a reading, a video, an image, a PowerPoint, whatever, it explores a controversial issue or an issue that has multiple perspectives that can be explored in depth. Students are placed in groups of 4 and divided into 2 teams, Team A and Team B. You could be more creative with me than I am. If you have odd numbers, I just go with the whole make it work approach. Teams are assigned a side or perspective that they must present and defend. They don't get to choose. They're given time to collect data, evidence, and support from the readings for their side. We establish very clear norms and expectations in which they have to cite page numbers because UVA students are very good at having an opinion. So again, pushing them to support their ideas with evidence. During the discussion, and you can change the timing based on how much class time you have, Team A has to present their argument to Team B. There's a critical intermediary step. Rather than Team B rushing in to have a better argument, Team B has to summarize the argument that Team A presented, pulling out the key points to make sure they understood the argument that Team A presented. Team B then presents their argument to Team A, and the same thing happens. Then comes the fun part where you watch students have to reach consensus. And that's one of the crucial components. They have to reach consensus on an issue. During whole class sharing, the teams report out the consensus opinion that they developed. Then, after we have a whole group discussion and reflection, they can return to small group discussion. It's every man, woman, child for themselves, where they can abandon the position of their team, they can abandon the consensus position, and identify, discuss, and debrief about their own opinion. We then share on the process. In my methods class, those future history teachers I talked about take a lot of wonderful classes in which they learn about a lot of content in depth. Sometimes they need a refresher on the fundamentals, like the Constitution, that they're going to be teaching in class. And so in my methods class, one of the ways we use structured academic controversy is a weekly event in which we revisit a chapter from Sabato's book in which he proposes revisions to the Constitution. It's pretty cut and dry. They have to agree or disagree with the proposals. The norms and expectations are important. One student who I never hear speak was very, very vehement about judges should no longer have term limits. And he was just very into it. It was wonderful to watch. In my large lecture class, we do a one-time topic. Something that future teachers care deeply about is the teacher evaluation policy outlined by the Commonwealth of Virginia. We use this image as a stepping point into a discussion. Students are told they have to agree with the Commonwealth's position on teacher evaluation or disagree with the Commonwealth's position on teacher evaluation. In this instance, I allow them time to use the computers that they have at the ready to research background information using the Department of Education website and referring to the readings that were assigned on the Collab site. In summary, the reason I like this is that many students, particularly UVA students, they want to be validated for having the right answer. But sometimes there's nothing that's that neat. There's no pro-con format, and the goal, they think that it's to defeat a student in a debate. The structured academic controversy method shifts that to understanding alternative positions and formulating syntheses and makes them listen to each other. And that's the thing that's sort of rigged into each step. They really have to listen to what the argument of the other side is. They have to come to consensus, which involves listening. And then they have to retreat, and they can have their own opinion, but they have to listen to those of others. And I often find that's a crucial skill that students need to be taught and revisited. For resources, you can Google structured academic controversy, but there's a great step-by-step at this website that provides step-by-step information on what it is, how you can use it, and it's presented across all disciplines, not just my world of history, social science, and educational issues.